This mod was never meant to be taken seriously. It's a reskin of a cancelled mod with ha-ha funny anime girls. The devs started to feel bored of working on the mod months ago. I would have just cancelled it, but we had like 5 things left to do. Those 5 things took 5 months, but we did it. We didn't really care about this project anymore. It became less of let's finish this, and more of let's get this over with. We finished what we felt like we needed to. So, that is your response? Fine then. Monica.exe is a list of covers based on Sonic.Exe Round 2. Made within just over a month since Round 2's release, the mod shows the horror hiding behind the faces of the Doki girls. Or at least that would have been my hope. What was delivered disregarded most relevance to DDLC and chose to copy Round 2 as much as possible. There are so many problems because of this, so let's get into it. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please leave a like and subscribe. Version 1 consisted of covers, which are songs that feature the same instrumental but different vocals. I will be putting more weight on anything that is new. Just Monica is a cover of Too Slow. Monica's appearance attempts to mimic Sonic.exe, but her perspective does not match his. Her body shape and concept led to slight differences with the same intent. The background features half of Yuri's head and one of the girls' arms, presumably Natsuki's. Her voice with reverb has a decent sound and has alright synergy with the instrumental. Monica also has her own voice line.
Here's Monica's writing tip of the day. I'm gonna fucking murder you.
The chart has the same problems the original one did, probably because it is the same chart. Monica being Sonic.exe does work, but she should have left it at that. Yes, the Markov notes are here, and yes, they still outright kill. Their placements are not that bad, but they still cause trouble. The Phantom notes from Round 2 are also here, but I will explain that in a bit. It is a surprisingly good opener to the mod. Undeletable is the replacement for You Can't Run. Monica's appearance and movements copy Sonic much more, giving less originality. Another common theme with the mod. Monica's voice is less impactful, but still decent. She still repeats the same voice lines Sonic does in the original. The chart has an excellent flow, but the Phantom notes are now worse. Instead of acting like a poison, they are now standard hurt notes, taking a small chunk of health on hit. The Markov notes are also here, and in slightly worse positions. There is also note-based health drain with a limit. The Green Hill Zone motive features a glitching pixel Monica with small but interesting changes. Not too great, but not too bad. Festival is the new Triple Trouble, and also the most prominent DDLC cover for Round 2. Each Doki girl replaces a character, and who they replaced were the best picks. Sayori for Tails, Natsuki for Knuckles, Yuri for Robotnik, and Monica for Sonic. Each girl's appearance is taken from the character they replaced and has some reference to how they died in DDLC. The voices are, again, quite decent, but the lacking instrumental remains. Markov notes, Phantom notes, and now the center track is more problematic. The rings were optional, serving to your benefit, but these poem sheets have to be hit. They are normal notes, but playing a 5th track makes for quite a difference. This song already had problems, and they managed to make it worse. Raccoon is a cover of Cycles, and the most harmed by copying. Yuri mimics Lord.Exe's poses, but they do not work with her at all. Her voice is not bad, but certainly lacking in comparison to Lord.Exe. The background is not animated, giving less life to this song's world. This is also the only song Yuri has, as she may not even be the best candidate for it. She and Monica are in close contention, but they had to put Yuri somewhere. Every difference ended as a poor decision. Sayonara is the new Endless, but if Sayori was going to be the new singer, it should have been called Happy Thoughts. Making her look like Majin does not work. It worked for Sonic in a strange way, but not her. The Sayoris in the foreground move to the music, but the background characters do not. Sayori having her actual voice is unfitting, but it has its own charm to it. For some reason, the instrumental is from Endless version 2, but the vocal pattern is from version 1. Bizarre, but not a hindrance. It is quite well off for what it is. Dear Sunshine replaces Sunshine. They do not use the 3D style of Sonic R, which is a staple of the song's identity. Turning Sayori into a voodoo doll is forced copying. Not much originality in her poses, but the up and down movement is a nice touch of atmosphere. Her voice has less impact than Tails Doll's voice, which is not a good thing. Tails Doll's voice sounds like cries, which plays to his dark story, so, given Sayori's expressiveness, she should have done the same. The lights out portion has Sayori flash red and blue, perhaps referencing the blood and suffocation related to her death. In the end, it is a downgrade from what the original accomplished. Lunatic is a cover of Chaos. Monica has no expression in her art in comparison to Fleetway's incredible expressions and many animations. They actually got Monica's voice actor to do Fleetway's lines, but they do not work with Monica's character. Her vocals do not sound right, mostly because Fleetway's vocals contain sounds that Monica does not make. She also does not sing the right pattern, making her notes more incorrect. The chart features a new note type that substitutes for the dodge mechanic. Each note will deal 25% of max health in damage if you miss. Considering it only happens once, it makes more sense for it to kill outright, but that might be what the Markov notes are for. The background changes near the end, but there is no reason for this. Especially for places that are not Monica's clubroom. This song is disgraceful to the original. Milk and Cookies replaces Milk, which should have been called Cupcakes since that is what Natsuki bakes. It is likely that the only reason Natsuki was chosen for this song was because of her appearance. Sayori is a better fit for Sunki. Natsuki's art is a direct copy, and her voice is quite similar to Sunki's voice. That is all there is for differences, so it is quite alright. Too Small is the new Too Fest, and again, Natsuki was likely chosen due to her appearance. Sayori is also a better fit for Sonic. This song is the same story as Milk and Cookies. Same art, similar voice, no other problems. I will mention something that made beating Too Small such a hassle. This version of Psych Engine had a bug that would essentially make ghost tapping useless to me, and that made this song much harder. That is not the fault of the song, so I will not hold the bug against it. Now, let's look at the same 9 songs in version 2. The goal of this version was to significantly improve what they had, not to add more. Hold on, if they never intended to treat this seriously, why would they want to improve version 1? The quality it had partially suggested that it was a joke. Still not clear enough, but more on that later. These are conflicting statements, but since it does a bad job at making it clear that it was supposed to be a joke, let's treat them as being serious. Most of the art changed its art style to match that of the cancelled Sonic.Exe Round 3. This art style stands out, but not in a good way. Every instrumental has now been remixed, making the songs remixes rather than covers. 2 major changes, but what did the devs do with this? Just Monica has a new character, referred to as Asmodeus, and they are creepy in a way that has no relation to Monica. The poses are strange, the animations feel weird to look at, and the voice is not only unpleasant, but also does not feel like Monica. At this point, it is more of an original character than being based on an existing character. That is technically not a bad thing, but Monica has a concrete character that this mod is ignoring. The instrumental has more of a fantasy horror vibe with the piano, and you can still hear the Sonic in it. I guess the devs wanted to show that they were not taking this mod seriously through the jump scares. The mechanics are gone, but the chart is worse. With all that in mind, this managed to be worse than version 1. Undeletable maintains the same problem of copying poses with smoother animation. The new aspects of the instrumental do not mesh with the original, taking away from its strength. The sprite in the pixel portion is honestly less fitting than the modified sprite from version 1. The music is mostly DDLC, but it clashes with the vocals that still motive Green Hill Zone. Since the Green Hill Zone motive is so focal to the song's identity, to be a more fitting remix, it would need to merge it with the new premise. The voice is the new one and louder compared to version 1. The chart is not too different, but while the special notes are gone, the chart has more errors. The health drain is slightly weaker, but it does not make up for the problems this song has. Festival has its ups and downs. The victims have more fitting art, but their animations are stiff. The voices are better, even if it is just a simple effect, but Asmodeus drags it down. The chart ditched the mechanics on the 5th track, but Asmodeus now has health drain. The instrumental has slightly more variants, and the new additions do work with the original, although the piano used for Natsuki should have been for Yuri. The vocals also replaced multiple Sonic motives with DDLC motives, although their choices could have been more specific to each character. The overall changes were positive. Raccoon features Lady Y, an original depiction of Yuri. Her tall figure makes her a more sophisticated evil, but her poses play to her obsessiveness. Her up pose is something else. The fantasy horror works well with the original instrumental, and her lower voice is both recognizable as Yuri and fits the remix. The chart is unchanged, and in spite of the concept issue, it is a large improvement from version 1. Sayonara went from Sayori being Majin to Majin being Sayori. It looks like Majin is cosplaying Sayori, making the DDLC move cursor sound. Fantasy horror does not work as well with this instrumental since the intent of Endless was to be upbeat dance music. The foreground now has Majins instead of Sayoris, and the background ones are still motionless. The vocal pattern is now from Endless version 2, and while the chart is partially easier, it also treats slides in a different way. Overall, it is good in the same ways as version 1. Dear Sunshine is now in 3D, which somehow makes the doll look worse. Her poses are more or less the same, and she lost the up and down movement. The fantasy horror does not change much about the instrumental, and Sayori's voice is a bit more clear, giving her more emotion. When the lights go out, her bow changes color to match the notes. So much for the stretched reference. The motive to Can You Feel the Sunshine should have received the same treatment I mentioned with Undeletable. When the lights turn back on, the bot play text appears. Not the function though. Overall, the changes balance each other out.
Now hold on a second, you! What the fuck is your problem? You stupid
I do not even have to mention her art. Take one good look at her and try to tell me that that is Monica. She got the expressiveness, but in such a bad way. The song is now a trap mix, and not only are the incorrect vocals still here, but the voice lines are gone. It was wrong for her to say Fleetway's lines, but it is worse for her not to say any lines. Her voice is now a modified version of Fleetway's voice, but it does not sound right. The chart is fine, the mechanics are gone, and this song is a wreck. Milk and Cookies is now a remix of version 3 Milk, which is an honest upgrade to version 2. Natsuki is still copying Sunky from version 2, but Boyfriend is from version 3. The remix is not too different from the original, and again, Natsuki's voice is similar to Sunky's. The song creates the illusion of a different aspect ratio, while Milk actually changes it. It also removed the mechanic, which is a critical piece of the original song's identity. With a great chart, this remix is alright. Too Small is also a version 3 remix. Natsuki and Boyfriend are now based on Sonic's art style, but Natsuki's poses still have similarities to the ones she copied. The Sonic elements of the instrumental have been removed, giving less relevance to the original song. Natsuki's voice is similar to Sonic's, and the chart has a great flow. It left out the MLG distractions, which is a big part of the song. All things considered, the remix did well. Stop. There are still 4 songs to discuss. Dark Puddle is a remix of Phantasm, a song that got a lot of covers. Right off the bat, I do not like how Monica is copying Sonic's position. This does not fit her. Lunatic's expressions are disturbing only for their appearance, not their meaning. The instrumental captures the essence of the original song and tailors it to DDLC, but this is the one song that should have used a piano that did not. Monica sounds beautiful, but Lunatic's voice still feels off. For all the charts that were edited, typically to make them easier, this is one that was not when it needed it. By concept, Monica is the least fitting character, but it still could have been done. Not like this. I honestly think this is the best song, but it has glaring problems. Arbitrary Code Execution is an original song based on Neo Monica, and it is disappointing. Neo Monica and Boyfriend have appearances that fit the Neo style. Monica's animations have the same stiffness as the other girls in Festival, but Boyfriend's smoothness is fine. The background feels generic with the binary, but the platforms are nice. The instrumental is more of a dancing groove, and Monica's voice is quite different. But both she and Boyfriend sound alright. The vocal pattern is great in some areas, but note spam gets used a bit much, making it less enjoyable to play. There is also a part where Boyfriend becomes one with the instrumental. Overall, I could have hoped for more from the only original song in the mod. Going back to version 1, Sonic Chrome is a Sonic.Exe cover of Monochrome with Majin in place of Boyfriend. Sonic works in place of Gold, his voice fits the instrumental, but his art mostly copies, and his idol has no animation. The chart is unchanged, the mechanics are gone, and the jumpscare visual has the same problem I mentioned with Audichrome, which in itself comes from the original. Nothing too special, but it is alright. FunnySong.mpeg is a song I cannot explain. It sounds like a remix of version 2 Milk, but after some time, Sunky copyright claims the song, preventing you from playing any more of it. In a sense, this is not treated as a song, so I cannot give it an actual score. Finally, we have gone through everything. Here are my overall scores for version 1, and here are the ones for version 2. Monica.exe had so much potential, but the devs disregarded that just to make something easier. Them never taking this seriously cannot be true given what version 2 ended up being. For example, each form of Asmodeus has its own name, being Nadir, Orthodox, and Zenith respectively. This is too specific to be something with no passion. The devs started this project with passion and eventually lost it. If that happens, then it is not worth continuing the project only to make something worse. Dedication and passion are key components to ensuring one's work will yield a good product. Feel free to share your thoughts on the mod in the comments below. Until next time.